introduction in your WhatsApp after this analysis session. Good afternoon, Madam Onaji. Cool Prince, good afternoon. All right, so this afternoon we have one event, and that's by 4 p.m. That's quite some time away from now. So it's possible to have some technical moves in the market between now and that 4 p.m. So, but then we'll look at the fundamentals, then we'll go to the technicals. Now, two news will be coming up. Three in the real sense. We have a news from Canada. That's the IV PMI by 4 p.m. Then we have the ISM Services PMI and the JOLTS job opening, both of them from the United States. Now, the news from Canada is a medium impact event, while the one from the United States is a high impact event. So we click on the details to know what this IV PMI is all about. It measures the level of a diffusion index based on surveyed purchasing managers, and actual greater than forecast is good for the currency. And for the ISM Services PMI, it measures the level of a diffusion index based on surveyed purchasing managers, excluding the manufacturing industry. Again, actual greater than forecast is good for the currency. And finally, the JOLTS job opening measures the number of job openings during the reported month, excluding the farming industry. And actual greater than forecast is also good for the currency. So this is our expectation now. Now we have the forecast for this event. Like the IVPMI, the forecast is 55.4. We're expecting the actual by 4 p.m. So if the actual is greater than forecast, then we'll be expecting a bullish movement on the CAD. So if the actual comes out with a color green, it means we're expecting a bullish movement on the CAD. And if on the other hand, the actual comes out with a color red, which is an actual less than forecast, then we'll be expecting a bearish movement on the CAD. Now, the same thing goes for the dollar. If the two events actual comes out greater than the forecast, then we'll be expecting a bullish movement on the dollar. And if on the other hand, the actual comes out less than forecast for the two events, then we'll be expecting, a decline on the dollar. Now, these events are not, the dollar events, they are not so related. So it's possible to have some of the data conflict. We will also look at that. Now, so if the news comes out in this fashion, then we'll be looking at trading the CAD pairs and the dollar pairs, which I will show you in a few minutes from now. So I'll flip over now to the technicals so that we can have an overlook of an outlook of what the technical is saying. But before I go to the technicals, I also want to sound this. One currency that connects both the CAD and the dollar is the USDCAD. So USDCAD may react to this news because I'm going to show you my analysis on USDCAD. Now, the only condition that we can trade USDCAD is if the news comes out bad, or let me say, good for the CAD. If it comes out good for the CAD as a green and comes out bad for the dollar, this will lead to a massive bearish breakdown, in the USDCAD. That's the only condition that will encourage you to trade USDCAD. If it comes out good for the CAD and bad for the dollar, we'll see a bearish movement on the USDCAD. But aside that, I will encourage you to stay out of the USDCAD or just trade other pairs, other CAD or other dollar pairs independently. But if it's USDCAD, this is the only condition we can look at trading the USDCAD. All right, I'll flip now to the MetaTrader so that we'll look at the technical side of all this analysis. All right, so this is the USDCAD, just like I said. Now, for the USDCAD, if you joined my weekly outlook yesterday, I told you that I hold a bearish outlook on the USDCAD for this week. And this is the reason. The setup is still what I have since yesterday. We have a triple top on the daily time frame. That's a reversal. It's a very strong reversal pattern. We have a triple top here. And that's why we have that resistance zone over there. And secondly, yesterday candle closed as a bearish engulfing candlestick pattern. So technically, this is a bearish movement we're expecting on the USDCAD. So that's why I said if the news comes out good for the CAD and bad for the dollar, that will see to a massive bearish movement on the USDCAD. Technically, we're bearish on the USDCAD. If the fundamentals line up with it, then that will lead to a further bearish breakout on the USDCAD. So what of a scenario where the news comes out, bad for the CAD and good for the dollar, then USDCAD may experience some bullish movement. It's a possibility. It may experience a bullish movement, but I can tell you that that will be a short-term bullish movement. The reason is this: we have this area here is like a neckline region, which is like a resistance, a minor resistance zone. If the news comes out to favor a bullish movement in the USDCAD, it's going to be short-term. And you don't want to be caught in that because it will just move briefly in the bullish direction and will still eventually drop. So that's why I said the only condition you will trade USDCAD is if the news comes out bad for the dollar and good for the CAD. So let's take note of that. Now, I'm paying attention to some other CAD pairs that, might be affected by this news or that might move due to this news. I'll be looking at the GBPCAD and the AUDCAD. Just a second. All right, so this is the GBPCAD. Now for GBPCAD, we have a bearish, or I have a bearish outlook. And this is my reason for a bearish outlook. Let's start from the daily time frame. Now, from the daily time frame, you can see that the candle of yesterday is more like a doji. Current candle is also giving us a pattern like a rejection candle on the daily time frame. Let's flip down to 4-hour. Now, on the 4-hour time frame, I can see here we have a support zone right here. So we're having a scenario of a support turn resistance, which technically will lead to a bearish movement. And thirdly, we are seeing a pattern here that is forming a edge and a shoulder pattern, which is to lead to a bearish movement. All right, so technically we are bearish on the GBPCAD. So if the news comes out by 4 p.m. and it comes out again, it comes out good for the CAD, and okay, we don't have any news for the pound, so generally the pound is bearish. So if the news comes out by 4 p.m. and is good for the pound, I mean it's good for the CAD, then we will see a bearish movement on the GBPCAD. So we are looking at either selling the USDCAD or we are selling the GBPCAD by 4 p.m. But on the condition that the news comes out good for the CAD. So let's take note of that, because this head and shoulder pattern is a double confirmation that we're having a bearish breakout on this instrument. I think that should just suffice for the CAD so that we don't have too many instruments that will lead to over trading. We're looking at the USDCAD and we're looking at the GBPCAD. All right. Now for the dollar, I hold a bearish outlook for the dollar all week, and that's what is still playing out. Now for the dollar, from my analysis yesterday, I said I'm bearish on the dollar for this week, and the overall trend on the dollar is still bearish. Now, currently we have a rising wedge pattern on the 4-hour time frame. I'm looking at the USDCHF, and the price already broke out of the lower trend line. We are seeing a retest. We're expecting a continuation. So if the news comes out bad for the dollar, we're going to be looking at an opportunity to sell the USDCHF, because this region now is giving us a head and a shoulder pattern outlook. So we're still bearish. Don't get confused because you see a green candle. A green candle doesn't mean bullish movement like that, except on the higher time frame. we look at the overall trend. That's what we look at. And like I said, this pattern is giving us a vibe of a head and shoulder pattern. So if the news by 4 p.m. comes out bad for the dollar, then we'll see a further bearish breakout on the USDCHF. So I still maintain my bearish outlook on the USDCHF. And if you are a fan of Euro USD, we're still bullish on the Euro USD, even same from yesterday analysis. The news comes out bad for the dollar, we will see Euro USD go up. Now, but what about a scenario where the news comes out good for the dollar, just like on the USDCHF? If it comes out good for the dollar, definitely we will see price go up. It may touch this trend line or go a little higher, but ultimately we will still see a bearish movement. So it depends now on whether you just want to scalp a few pips or you want to be in the trade for a medium term. I wouldn't call it a long term, for a medium term. If it comes out good for the dollar, you may catch some 10, 15 pips as it goes up, but please don't stay too long in it because it may likely reverse eventually. So take note of that also for the Euro USD if that's your preference. But please avoid trading Euro USD and USDCHF at the same time. Not always the best to do. All right, so we've looked at the USDCAD, the USDCHF. We're bearish on both of them. GBPCAD, we're bearish on GBPCAD. I want to take a look now at gold. Gold, and we look at BTCUSD. So what kind of settings you want? The tight kind of settings. I'm just trying to check out gold. Okay. All right, so this is gold on the 4-hour time frame, and gold is traded within a symmetrical triangle. And if you're familiar with our training, with our analysis, symmetrical triangles, they are very unique because it's one of the very few patterns, if not the only one, where price can break out on either direction. So if price breaks out upwards, we'll be looking at buying gold, and if it breaks out downwards, we're looking at selling gold. So if the news comes out bad for the dollar, as we are anticipating, then that may lead to a bullish breakout on gold. So if by 4 p.m. the news comes out bad for the dollar, you can safely buy gold. That is using the fundamentals. Otherwise, if you want to trade gold technically, I will advise, let me just take a little check. All right, let's flip to 1 hour and see. Price is expected to approach this trend line, possibly break and retest before you have a final confirmation. Sorry, final continuation. So if the news, okay, aside the news now, if you are taking a buy because the dollar is selling, that's a good one. But if you happen to miss the opportunity, you can wait for price to break out, retest, and break above this level to trigger an eventual buy. But either ways, I want to just maintain a bullish outlook for now, pending the outcome of the news by 4 p.m. because we anticipate the news may come out bad for the dollar. But peradventure the news comes out good for the dollar, then we'll be looking at selling gold. If the news comes out good for the dollar, we'll be looking at selling gold because this region here will give us a resistance from where we can anticipate a decline in gold, at least to test the trend line. So let's take note of that as we await the release of the news. Finally, I'll look at the BTC, like I said. Now, I will advise if you are a BTC trader, you trade BTC with a lot of caution. I've been sounding this since yesterday, and I still maintain that. Trade with a lot of caution because what I'm seeing on the technicals, okay, I think it's moving just in line with my analysis. Now, I said it yesterday with a question that is a bull run on the BTC. Is it about to suffer a setback? Because see, there are a lot of talk out there. Yes, Trump inauguration, BTC going up. Those things are true fundamentally, but as a technical trader, my first point of call is the chart. What is the chart telling me? Now, I showed us, for those who joined the analysis yesterday, this is the monthly time frame. BTC closed with this rejection candle for 2024. And that's a very sharp one that could lead to a decline. But let's just hold that on one hand. On the second hand here, we have the weekly time frame. Now, on the weekly time frame, price hits a resistance level. I think yesterday, thereabout, yes. It hit a resistance on the weekly time frame. And this is not just an ordinary resistance, it's a resistance that might evolve into what may look like a double top pattern, which will lead to a bearish movement. If we flip down to the daily time frame, you see that we are exactly on that resistance. That's where price is now before the current decline, which we are experiencing. Now, if price is unable to break above this resistance, then what we will see is a decline, which is happening already. And if price declines on BTC, it will likely target the neckline region right here. Now, this neckline, or let me say this support zone, is not an ordinary support because it's the neckline of a bigger picture, which is the neckline of a head and shoulder pattern, which is forming on the daily time frame. And if price ever breaks that neckline, I'm telling you that we're having a bigger move downwards on BTC USD. So that's in the big picture. What about now? What do? We flip to 1 hour time frame. This is 1 hour time frame. We have our trend line. We have a rising wedge. We're going to look at an opportunity to sell BTC USD, provided it breaks out below this lower trend line. You know, price may retrace before a break, but if price breaks out below this trend line, then you can safely trigger a sell on BTC USD. RSI is currently below 50, so we're already in the mood for a bearish trade on BTC USD. Only we need to wait for the clear breakout. You need to wait for the confirmation before you trigger a sell on BTC USD. So technically, I'm bearish on BTC USD. Okay, Mr. Raju, DJ30, I'll look at that, and that will be the last analysis I'll do as we round up. All right, so this is DJ30. So we start from weekly, daily. Okay. So for DJ30, yesterday closed as a doji. All right, so that means we'll be looking for an opportunity to sell. Though I can't find a resistance, but I think we can still go with the fact that yesterday closed as a doji. So on 1 hour, what is forming now is a head, possibly a shoulder, and a drop. So what I will encourage you to do, Mr. Raju, is that we'll have our neckline in place. If price breaks out below this neckline, you can safely trigger a sell on DJ30. And you may target this, you may have to take profit levels, target this region as a first take profit. And if there's a lot of volatility, price may push down to the second take profit level. So we're bearish on DJ30. All right, so that'll be all from our analysis this afternoon. You're welcome, Mr. Raji. You're welcome. Don't forget, Friday is our NFP live trading. The very first one in the year 2025. We're trading NFP live. You're there, you need a funded account to be a part of this live trading. Make sure you fund your account, so that you can join. So reach out to your account manager. They'll furnish you with information on how to fund the account. And if you're there, you don't have an account with PU Prime, head over straight now to our website, www.puprime.com. Open a live account and fund it so that you can be a part of the class Friday. Time is 2:15 p.m. That's when we're taking off, and the trading will take place exactly by 2:30 p.m. Good afternoon. Happy New Year, Mukhtar Garba. All right, that'll be all from my end this afternoon. See you again some other time. Take care and bye for now.
Thank you very much, sir. Have a nice day.
You're welcome, man.